Hi everyone, this is Del from HANDMADE and I hope you are all doing well and keeping safe. In today's video, I will be using my DIY alcohol inks and I will be making some pendants with them. Now this video will be very similar to the previous one that I did, although I have a major change as well as I will be exploring a new technique, so stay tuned for that. I'm using 2-part epoxy resin and I mixed that off camera, and now I will be doing the pour. I decided to time myself here so that I can see and so that you can see how long it takes me to do each phase of this project. I am planning to post a video soon showing my full mixing process for the 2-part epoxy resin. I typically leave it out of the videos because it's a pretty repetitive step, so I want to make a separate dedicated video on it just in case anybody is curious and wants to see how I do it. But basically I use 1:1 ratio resin and I mix it until it is clear. I was really excited to do this project again because the last one turned out so great, and this time around I'm even putting in some earring molds to see if I can get some matching alcohol ink earrings. So I partially filled the cavities, and wherever I poured in too much I just used my stick and scooped it out. So all of that took about 13.5 minutes to do. Next, I added some crushed glass to a few of the pieces because I loved how that turned out the last time. The last time I did this project, I remember feeling overwhelmed, but this time around was different, mostly because I was a lot more confident going into this one, and I was able to do some things differently that made the whole process easier. For example, I opened all of the alcohol ink bottles before I started to drop. That way, when I was ready for a particular color, it was already opened and I could just grab it and drop. So I was able to drop the alcohol inks a lot faster this time than I did the last time. So that's the advantage of experience. Things generally get easier with it. So if you're new to resin, don't worry, you will get better. So I'm dropping in alcohol inks in the cavities. Right now I'm dropping in some glitter alcohol inks, which I just made with glitter and alcohol. I have a full tutorial on how I make my DIY alcohol inks on the channel, so you can check that out if you want to learn more. I also want to say that I am really appreciative of every single one of you who choose to spend time watching videos on this channel, who choose to subscribe to the channel, who like the videos, who share the videos. I am so appreciative of all of you. If you didn't know, the most important, most special subscribers of any YouTube channel will always be the first 1,000, and we're still in that phase. So every time I see an increase in the subscription, I feel so happy, and I'm so appreciative and grateful to everyone who choose to subscribe to this little channel that is, it's just that tiny dot in a big sea of everything else. So I appreciate you so much. It's hard to find the right words to say how much I appreciate you, but I appreciate you. So I wanted to put that out there just in case you don't make it to the end of the video. Now back to the video. I've been dropping alcohol inks for about 10 minutes now, and I don't count how many drops I drop in each of the cavities. I drop and then I look to see how it looks, and if I feel like it needs a little bit more, I drop a little bit more. Some of them I go over to drop some more just to brighten the colors. The smaller cavities obviously will get less ink than the larger ones, but I just look and see if it's looking like it needs a little bit more top up. That's what I do. A big change in this project from the last one is that I am not using any white alcohol ink in this one. In the last project I was going for a peachy effect. I did not achieve that, so I don't think the white added anything really to the finished pieces. So I'm learning from that, and since I'm not going for the peachy effect in this one, I'm just going to omit the white. The other big thing that I'll be doing differently in this one, and I'm really doing it because I want to compare two different finishes. In one set, I will be using iridescent powder to finish the pieces, and in the other set I'm just going to use just the black backing. You'll see what I mean when I get closer to it. So after pouring in all the alcohol inks, and feeling satisfied with the colors in each of the cavities, I'm going in and I'm giving each cavity a little swirl. So right now we are 32 minutes, almost 33 minutes into the project since I started to do the pour. So the resin is thickening up, although it's not super thick, but it's thick enough for me to do the swirl right now. Glitter has a tendency to clump together, so especially because I use it in most of these pieces, I need to swirl. So even though I'm not using any white, I am still doing the swirl. So all of this took 38 minutes. This is several hours later, and the resin has hardened, so it is time for the next phase. I love brushing iridescent powders on different pieces to help finish the look. I feel like it enhances the finished look. I've done it on gemstones, I've done it on the bubbles effect. I've also done it on a bloom where I brushed the iridescent powder behind the bloom to be part of the background, and I loved the finish. So I could not imagine that brushing iridescent powder on the back of these before backing them will ruin them. I just feel like it will be a matter of which one looks best. So that is what I settled to do. Which finish will be best, the luminous ones or the matte ones with just the black backing. I also went an extra step by marking on the mold which ones have the iridescent powders so that I don't get them mixed up. But it really was not necessary because it was impossible to miss which ones have the iridescent powders on them. I will say though that the pink powder that I brushed on a couple of the pieces was not iridescent powder, it was not chameleon powder because it did not stick to the piece. I think it's just mica powder, and so that one was null and void. So this is how everything looked before the final backing, and I was feeling very excited to back it and to see how these pieces turn out. I went ahead and mixed the resin off camera, but I had a big oopsie, so I'm showing you that this resin is so liquid because the entire colorant bottle burst open, so the top of it just squeezed out and dumped the entire content into the resin. So I had to mix up a different batch, and while midway pouring that second batch, I decided to check this one and realized that it was thickening up. I was very surprised. So I decided to pour it into a different mold to see how that turns out, because I know that there are concerns with how much colorant, how much liquid to put into resin. So I really wanted to see if it would cure, because I didn't think it was going to cure. That is why I mixed a different batch to back these with. That's the drop up part of the bottle that I found. I was so frightened I just threw it down on that paper towel. So this is after everything has cured, and no surprises, the first thing I went for was the one where I had the oopsies, and to my surprise it cured. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those. But this is the most exciting part, as always, of every project, the big reveal, and man was I excited to see these. The first one has the iridescent powder in the background, so I'm going for one that doesn't have it to compare both of them. I was able to see the difference. It's not that apparent in this footage, but there definitely was a difference. But I will say that both pieces were very pretty. I'm doing my best to show you the pieces as I unmolded them, but I've included more close-up footage and pictures at the end to give you a better look of what they look like. Please, as you watch them, let me know which pieces or which piece you like the most. These two earrings have the same alcohol ink in them, but the bottom one has the yellow iridescent powder, so you can see the difference in the two finishes. Which one of them do you prefer? I feel like this set did not have the gloss that the others do, but I think the issue is with the mold. The mold is not very shiny. So what I can do is just dome the top of these, and that will fix that problem. Now look at these. Oh my gosh. Wow, these, yeah, I'm so happy with this project. I am so happy with these. Each piece is so unique, and that's what makes it even more special. Even for the ones that I dropped the same colors in, they came out looking a little different. Either the colors are a little bit duller or a little brighter, or something about it is just a little bit different. So that's one of the joys in doing this, one of the beauties of doing this. So yep, I was very happy with the results in this one. An important question that has come up is whether or not these alcohol inks will fade, these beautiful pendants will fade. So I'm planning on doing an experiment to see if these will fade in the sunlight. Well, not these ones. I'm going to do a different experiment with different pieces, and I'll be comparing it to commercial alcohol inks because I got some of those recently. So you can stay tuned for that one. So this is everything, guys. I don't know which is best, the luminous effect with the iridescent powder or just the one with the black backing. I love both, and these ones on screen now are my favorite pieces. I love all of them, but yeah, the set before this one as well as this one, they are my favorite pieces. So this is everything, and I hope you learned something. I hope you liked something. I hope you don't feel like you wasted your time in watching this video all down to this this time. But as I said earlier, I'm so appreciative of all of you for taking the time, especially you who watch all the way to the end of the videos. That really helps us a lot here. So thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day as well as a restful night. Take care.